Challengers is the most disrespected ecosystem I've ever seen in esports. These players, they're not paid, they're underpaid, they're undervalued.
I still want to play, like I still have what it takes.
And they're doing it all for the same goal, which is to finally get into the league and get paid.
When they look at challengers, they shouldn't just look at people as, oh, they're just wasting their time. It's people who have that gotta make it mentality.
It's gonna be hard, but like, if I want to get in the league and I want to success, like, it's the thing that I have to do. I have to do it, and I'm excited. I'm done to do it.
At the end of the day, these are guys that are grinding, they're putting the work in, and they're balancing a full life outside of that. Not to say there's not players in the league that aren't, but these guys are forced to.
I had to work a second job. I was doing interviews and doing certificates. I missed out on a lot just trying to survive.
We're not in this just for our name to be stapled to a Challengers team and to say, look at what we're doing, we're better than other people. It kind of all worked out perfectly. Fame, Pandur, and GodRX had been a team anyway, and they thought Jose had a lot of talent, and when they found out he was moving to North America, the decision basically made itself. We're doing this because we genuinely care about these players, and we know the difference they can make in the league, and we know the difference they can make with each other. At the end of the day, these are guys that are grinding, they're putting the work in, and they're balancing a full life outside of that. Not to say there's not players in the league that aren't, but these guys are forced to. My name is Joey Nubsy DiGiacomo, the team operations manager at version 1 Minnesota RØKKR, former CDL head coach for Seattle Surge, and prior to that, I was the coach for Gen G in the CWL. Challengers is an ecosystem that's really evolved over the last few years, even prior to the CDL starting back in the CWL days. It's basically the farm system and the only way for upcoming talent to come through in Call of Duty. Similar to other esports where there'll be academy teams, we try to foster the best talent that hasn't quite reached the pro league yet and really get them to that next level. What we're doing here at RØKKR is we're providing that infrastructure to these players. I'm not saying that a lot of organizations wouldn't do it if they were able to, but I think we take those steps and we take the initiative to make sure we're growing the league's talent.
My name's Casey Pandur, and I'm a flex player for RØKKR Academy team.
And then snake him. Pandur. Nate, it's cooked perfectly medium rare.
Side it comes Panda, and they don't expect this. Panda from the side for two! I
mean, Casey's just the leader of the team. He's someone that, he's going on, he's leading the VOD sessions, he's making sure that these guys are on good routines. They're, he's effectively a leader. In-game leader would be an understatement to what Casey is.
I've had a pretty rough sequence of events that have happened to me from the Seattle Surge to now this. I learned a lot from it, but overall it was just kind of a tough experience.
I brought him in on our Seattle team and I ruined his stock for years upon years.
I was in a position where I got brought in for Enable, who was fresh off of winning 2 chips, who everybody loved. A lot of players had a lot of respect for. A lot of players didn't really know me or didn't really respect me as a player. We weren't really good. So I think a lot of people just pointed at the new guy. I think it did definitely tank my stock, I would say, because if I performed the same way I did in Cold War, I would have been picked up probably after the first 2 majors, I would imagine. But then fast forward now, it's just I haven't been picked back up, and it's just kind of been a running theme that people joke about it within my circle, and Joey talks about it a lot, talking about your stock is tanked, you need to change your name and stuff like that. Last year I had a really rough financial standpoint from I believe it was January all the way up until probably June, of where I had to work a second job. I was doing interviews and doing certificates, and I was playing 4 hours a day, if I would even be able to play that day. And I missed out on a lot just trying to survive.
Casey definitely has the most challenging life outside of COD because he's a husband and he's a father.
I'm lucky I have a great support system around me. So my mom and dad live near us. So they come by and they help whenever my wife has to go into the office. So it allows me to get on at a decent hour.
He's working every single day to try to provide for that kid, and he's also putting in the time in COD. So it's kind of one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Having a 1.1 to a 1.15 for 3 years in a row and still not getting a spot is definitely rough. Everyone's just looking for some new savior. Everyone's looking for, oh, this new guy is gonna save our team and make us so much better, or, oh, we're gonna sign this guy for the minimum and then in a year he's gonna be worth $300,000. And it's just, those people are all gone. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to all the CDL teams. Your Preds, your Hydras, your Scraps, all those guys are gone. They're already in the league.
Hello, I'm José Manuel, and I'm a Call of Duty player for Minnesota RØKKR.
Moviendo otra vez el de los pelos rizados. 3K para ReeaL. ¿Cómo se está moviendo ReeaL? Se da media vuelta ReeaL. Se ha vuelto loco ReeaL.
Decided to switch it over to the B site, and ReeaL opens it up with first blood. Make it two! Oh my god! ReeaL is insane!
Jose, like I mentioned before, is just kind of the international superstar that I think is next to take the league by storm. I mean, the kid is just gross at the game. He has an insane work ethic. He puts the hours in, and he has a true passion for wanting to learn over just wanting to shoot straight.
When I was young, I usually play like a lot of football. Like my passion was like be a professional football player. Barcelona, I think, is the best club in the world. When I turned like 13 years old, like I started playing video games like in a more competitive way. I started watching some competitive Call of Duty tournaments, like Spanish tournaments and all of that. And after that, like, I don't know, something changed in my mind, and I don't know, I started liking Call of Duty. I started spending more time in it, and I stopped going out. I stopped studying. When I started spending like too many hours in the game, like playing Call of Duty and all of that, I started feeling lonely. Like I started feeling that I started missing friends. I think they started forgetting about me. Like they stopped texting me and all of that. So at one point, yeah, I was sad because I was like, I'm losing all my friends, and if this don't work at the end of the day, like I'm gonna be alone. So I was a little bit scared at that point. But
In the Challenger season for Vanguard, we introduced the first iteration of RØKKR Academy, that being the Spanish team originally comprised of Lucky, Metals, Journey, and ReeaL. After the team had some really rough starts on land and they couldn't end up closing the season out in too impressive of a way, we decided that Jose was still the talent that we saw and figured that he was probably the best player on the team. We wanted to bring him over here and figured he would slot really, really well and join that shell of famed Pandur and GodRX was a really, it was a no-brainer.
What did you think when you heard, hey, we want you back, but you're gonna have to play with English speakers? What did you think at first?
At first, I was like, it's gonna be hard, but like, if I want to get in the league and I want to success, like, it's the thing that I have to do. So at first, I was like really convinced, but after I overthink about it, like, I was like, I have to do it, and I'm excited. I'm done to do it. I learned without having a teacher. I learned like watching streams, YouTube videos, like hearing people, and all of that. I didn't need a teacher to learn.
The goal with Jose was always to get him to North America. Though it took some time to do it in the first season, we were very happy to be able to get him here going into Modern Warfare 2.
When I heard the news, I was sad because I had to leave my grandma, my mom, and all my family, my whole family. But in the other side of my mind, I was like, I'm excited. I want to move to another, by myself, a long time ago, to focus in what I want to really do. I don't know, I was just excited for the opportunity, to be honest. If you really want to be in the league and to chase your dream, you have to do it. Don't be scared of getting an English team, even if your English is so bad. You will learn in a matter of time. So just be patient, and you will have success.
My name is Adam Brown. I go by GodRX. I'm an AR player for RØKKR Academy.
Made from downtown. All right, well, if Octane is gonna get like that.
The response, you would think. That's 4 rounds in a row. GodRX, he's got a subby.
Adam's a person that's been in and out of the league a few times. He's had some great finishes at tournaments, and he's someone that was known for a really long time as one of the best mechanical players and one of the most flexible in the league.
Being back under the RØKKR brand, I think, is a good feeling. Left on a bad note, I would say, in terms of not finishing what I started for the 2020 season. It's good to be back in the facility in Minnesota, seeing everyone that I started with for the first season of CDL, the inaugural season.
He's someone that brings good vibes to a team, but he also has the intangibles deep down where you know that you can trust him to make good plays, specifically in S&D when he's left in situations where other players would not have a favorable shot.
I mean, being my 3rd year in Challengers, at first, I hated it. The very first game, because I just got benched. I didn't get picked up on a Pro League team again after having a great season. My mental state was bad for online COD at least, because that's when COVID happened and everything was stuck online. Everyone's like, oh, LAN RX, LAN Wall RX, all that. Every time we would play, I would always just like, oh, I'm ego challenging this guy, or I'm doing my own thing, all this and that. Like trying to do my own way to get back in the pro league. I remember our coach Ronan had some deep talk with me and just said that's not the way to do it, and just build my mental back up for online COD. The second year, it was getting better. Me and Casey, obviously we stuck with 3 years in a row for Challengers. He'd always help me do pep talks and all that stuff. I remember we had a talk one day, it was like, why are we still doing this? Like, if you want to quit, then why are you still here? Like, just go ahead and do it. And I was like, this is really all I know. Like, I love Call of Duty. I know I have what it takes to be back in the pro league and carry on until he's like 30 years old. Call of Duty is like all I know, and I still have the passion to play. I've theorized why I didn't get picked up after the first season. Most people look at stats. If you look at my stats for the season, mostly putting up MVP numbers for the season, superstar numbers. And I don't know, maybe just people, friendship league, as they say. I think that was the lowest point for me and Casey. In my head, I'm just like, bro, like if I had just a normal job, I wouldn't have to care about any of this. Like why am I doing this? And then Casey was like, well, do it. Like, why don't you just do it, man? Just go for it. And then I was like, I don't know, dude, like, I still want to play. Like, I still have what it takes. Like, I don't like, yeah, I'm pissed orgs are passing us up and all this, and we're not getting shots, but we say that can't change next season. Last year was so scarce for organizations and challengers. There was no money coming in. You really had to win everything to make a profit for yourself, or consistently like wanting to play without having a job or something. There was no backing, no orgs. You had to base off of you want to place good at an event. So I just felt like I had to keep on fighting if I wanted to pursue my dream and career. It did pay off. I mean, I'm back in Minnesota, so.
I'm Kevin Fame Bonanno. I'm a sub player for the Minnesota RØKKR.
Things like this, too real. The SMGs are the only ones left alive. Fame snaking the head glitch above will find the last 2 players. Sick. I think he was trying to get it inside P3 maybe, but it bounces off the staircase. Regardless, Fame hits it from the front door, finds 2. GodRX is there for the last.
Fame, who is our substitute, is someone who just has a lot of talent. He's someone that grinded through the CCL, so he was in those college leagues where he won and he was a consistently top performing player. He's another player that's extremely flexible, and he lets this team be malleable enough to be able to change roles and do whatever they need when they feel like they're getting down.
My experience with the College COD League was nothing but good things. It was all positive. Taught me how to like time manage really well, juggling school and then juggling trying to compete. It was like a great learning experience, being able to compete in college and then also compete in Challengers. And then when I joined the CCL, I joined Ottawa. So I went to school in Kansas. And then after about 3 or 4 semesters there, I transferred to Northwood and spent 2 semesters at Northwood. It's absolutely viable to do both at the same time. I mean, I'm an example of that. There's players like Noisy on RØKKR Academy who's an example of that. I mean, obviously Ghosty going from playing the CCL, still going to school, and now playing for Optic. So obviously it's viable, and it should be something that a lot of Challengers players should look into. Call of Duty isn't forever, you know? Go to school, use your skill to get a degree. So.
We decided to sign Fame as a substitute going into Major 4 this year.
It was right after Toronto, the Toronto Major, and I went to the CCL playoffs. We won that tournament, national champion. And then a couple weeks go by, nothing happens, and then I finally get hit up by Brian Saint, and he's like, hey, can you hop in a call? I want to talk to you about some things. I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Just like, hey, we need someone for Major 5. We don't know what's gonna happen. You know, we gotta try to make champs. We might need you. I'm like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Like, this is the dream, you know? CDL's the dream.
Sometimes you're going to need a substitute player to kind of come in, and with how much is on the line right now, we felt like it would be really good to get Fame just due to how flexible he is as a player and how well he's been performing.
Everything I've heard about RØKKR has been nothing but good things, so that really did influence my decision to, you know, take that chance and sign a contract, despite it not being a starting, you know, contract. It's definitely an interesting dynamic of, you know, especially at Boston this last major, the Challengers event was in a completely different building. And then, you know, it's freezing cold outside, and after a Challengers match, like the main team's about to play, oh, I gotta, you know, run on over in the frigid cold in my winter coat, just so I'm sitting backstage ready to go in case something does happen. And it's just back and forth, back and forth. I feel like if I didn't take the opportunity, I'd be kicking myself right now and be like, oh, you're just an idiot. Like, why did you not sign that contract, even if it is strapping you to a team for a year and you never get a chance, or whatever happens. It's an opportunity of a lifetime for people who do compete in Challengers, and there's only X amount of spots, you know, 48 starting spots and then 12 sub spots if the team has a sub. So per year, there's only 60 available spots, and you never know if you're even gonna like get close to seeing one, if you're even gonna be talked about when teams are thinking of making a roster change or thinking of building a roster. So, you know, the opportunity's there, you take it. And that's what I did. Just knowing that I'm in the position I'm in, I do have one of the 60 spots, and I want to fight to move into one of the 48 spots on a starting team. And I want to keep proving myself so I can eventually either get promoted or, you know, when my contract is up with RØKKR, move on to a team where I will be a starter.
That's ReeaL, and as Fellow connects first blood, the bomb is still not gone down yet. Maybe a chance for RØKKR to still to fight back, but they lose a second.
They don't care. In this situation, it's a 2 versus 4. It's a 1 versus 4, and everything relies on Panda. Decimate. They just needed a second map in the series to steal away from RØKKR Academy. They get it done. We have our new champions here in Boston, and it's Decimate Gaming.
Unbelievable. Yeah, naturally, you've got Ghosty already waving farewell, but that is a very competitive series.
I think it's kind of clear cut that like we were by far the best team at that event. I think that we were playing a level above anyone at the tournament.
I'm pissed about that map. I really am. I really feel like that if one thing went our way, like after like round 5 or round 6, we would have just turned it around and just finished out the map, closed the map out. But it didn't. Every round just felt like something happened that shouldn't have happened. Someone didn't watch a pinch, and someone gets 2, like we just get flanked, someone gets 2, boom, we lose.
I think that it kind of sucked the way it panned out. But I mean, it is what it is. We learned from it, and you know, we took away what we could from it, and we were upset, but happens.
And we also got a special guest that's going to be joining us on tonight's flank. The new look to Optic Texas, the new rookie. Everybody welcome Dan Ghosty. Dan, what's going on, bro? Welcome to the flank.
Yo, what's good, Tom? Thank you for having me, man.
I mean, bro, you're a rookie. You were just playing in Challengers last week. Now you're in Texas playing for Optic Texas, and you're starting
honestly,
this weekend.
I've been just smiling ear to ear the whole day. I can't lie to you. Like, I'm literally in heaven.
You're in heaven, bro. I mean, it must be a surreal feeling. Did you guys scrim today?
I feel bad, but not for them because they get picked up. I feel bad because like, what will happen if we win the tournament? Like, what will have happened like if we win the tournament? Like, Casey will get picked up, Adam, Fame, or me. I don't know. It's like I had in my mind like, what will happen if we win the tournament? But I don't know.
It's hard to put into words what we went, like at least what I went through after that series. But it definitely affected us going forward for the Stage 2 playoffs, and just Stage 2 in general.
There are 4 stages this year in the Challenger Elite that penultimately ends in champs, which will be based on pro points and the teams that are performed worldwide across the entire season.
It's just been an insane change-up if I've ever seen one. And Pro Amar has been a huge part of it. 10-4, the streak to come in. If you want to use it here, you can put it away for 6 in a row if you want to.
Originally, it was have these guys out here, let them play playoffs from here and try to win the thing from Minnesota, capture some great footage. Unfortunately, they were out of playoffs before they even got on their planes.
But has to beam both players, Gus and Pro Amar, and I like this route. He's going to try to attack and see if he can get to the top of the window here, and he does do so, but Gus is waiting! 6 rounds in a row, Samag Alpha, can you believe it?
It was unexpected, but it was a big wake-up call. So it ended up kind of being the perfect storm to get them out here. I think this is something they really needed. I think this was an opportunity to get them to kind of realign, resync, and get on the same page with their goals throughout the rest of the season.
After Stage 2 playoffs, we had a rough day in Challengers. Can't have a rough day in Challengers. Our plan here is to just kind of recoup from that, get everybody in the same room, get everybody back in the flow, get everybody, make sure everyone's level-headed.
We're just screaming. We're trying to watch a lot of both to improve our hard points, our S&D strats and all of that. We're always good at home, and they are better here in the headquarters.
Because we're all together and we can actually, sit down and talk about things.
We don't want to have anyone sit at home by themselves being all pitying down. That wouldn't be good for themselves in terms of mental knowledge.
And just the team bonding of just all being here, all hanging out in the scrim room.
It's so good to have everyone in that one place because everyone's a clown on our team.
He's playing with more than Hero right now, and he's terrible.
Oh my god. What? Where am I getting shot from? Thanks. Wow. Now I'm locked in and ready to win this game. Chow him!
Oh my god.
Oh shit. One more. GG bubble! Bro, I'm not dabbing you up. You just shot like that.
Grind smell in the ring. Me and Casey gonna do some co-op.
Oh yeah, we got Casey Pandur in the building now too.
We're gonna beat all the bosses, and then we're gonna beat them again.
So Rice Krispie, get you going for the next scrim. Gotta re-up, refuel, and redeploy,
Now everyone's here. We're all over the Elite 2 loss. Eyes focused on Dallas.
I want to win it, to prove myself that I can do it, even playing in a language that is not mine, and to prove everyone wrong about last year. Because after last year, they were telling me I was an onliner, that I couldn't even shoot their straight on land, and I already showed them that I can, but I want to prove it winning a tournament.
If I were to say anything to anyone that's trying to understand challengers or what they go through, or every time you're about to type on Twitter or you're about to make a Reddit thread about how bad performance is of some of these challenger players, I want you to remember that a lot of them are playing better than a lot of CDL pros, and they're waking up every single day, they're going to school, they're going and working at grocery stores, they're taking care of their kids, they're doing everything these players don't have to worry about, and they're trying to perform and get to the level where they can be comfortable in their own lives.
The sacrifice you have to make, just the time that you spend playing the game, you have to grind, 8 hours a day, sometimes longer, 10 hours a day, because everyone ahead of you is also grinding like that. And if you're not getting paid as a Challengers player and you have to grind like that, it's difficult. It's next to impossible for people unless you have that gotta make it mentality. And not a lot of people have that.
I tell my teammates, and I specifically tell Adam, because of the situation we've been in the last 3 years, is I don't expect to get picked up anymore. I'm not sitting there oh, I'm never gonna get picked up. I'm not a negative person about it, but I've kind of, at this point, I've accepted okay, if I don't get picked up, if no one wants to get me, there's still a lot of, money to be made in Challengers. I'm still getting paid to play in Challengers. I still have an obligation to my 3 teammates here to not, be worried about my performance or, I hope this team picks me up or whatever.
When they look at Challengers, they shouldn't just look at people as, oh, they're just wasting their time. It's people who have that gotta make it, this is what I wanna do mentality. So, it's just a sacrifice you gotta make.